Chapter 5. After 1 month. In the courtyard, golden sunlight spilled down, filled the world with vitality. At this point Roger's body was covered with sweat, he was breathing heavily as if he reached the limit of his body. He was doing the most simple, most basic squat training. His sweat made the ground wet. He was breathing heavily but still saying a number every time he squat down. 2201, 2202, his legs turned numb, he almost couldn't feel them but still gritted his teeth and continued. He wanted to break his limit. While Roger's upgrade, the Sword of the Soul, wasn't small, but his own strengthening is more frightening. If we were to compare him to the rest of the recruit, he won't be at the bottom anymore. 2353, 2354. Once again he tried to stand up but only got halfway, then fall down again, no longer being able to stand and could only try to restore his breath. Is 2354 is my limit. Although his body is extremely tired, his spirit wasn't exhausted at all since he has his soul coupled with the sword in it. He was able to reach his limits again. This was precisely possible because of his abnormally strong soul, which made him exceed his physical limit. Although it was painful, but he could do it. He could bear this kind of pain. Roger couldn't feel his legs anymore. They turned completely numb. So for a short time he won't be able to stand up. Then in the next moment Roger's face was covered with black lines, his mouth twitched. Garp was standing there while he was sleeping. Roger sighed, he was too lazy to wake Garp up. He estimated that he won't be able to wake him up even if he tried. Then with a thought the property bar appeared before him. He could see that the energy increased by 1. Roger slightly nodded, then the property bar dissipated and he began his rest. After a while, Roger seemed to regain the feeling in his legs and tried to stand up, and finally Garp woke up. When he woke up he wasn't embarrassed but directly turned to see Roger. At first glance Roger was sitting on the ground. Garp stared at him and thought he was sleeping like him, but the next moment he noticed the sweaty clothes and the wet ground under him and Roger, who was trying to stand up with shaking legs. At first Garp prepared to directly rise a roar like last time, but it got stuck in his throat while his eyes flashing with different color. Did he just reach his limit? This state of his shaking legs made Garp surprised. Like this he will bring all of his potential out. Garp can naturally recognize such a state. It's the state after breaking the limit. Breaking the limit isn't easy as it doesn't have anything to do with physical power. It's all about the willpower. Garp didn't think that Roger's willpower is this strong, it surpassed his imagination. Garp made a satisfied smile, then in the next moment returned to his strict state, and after Roger restored his strength they resumed training. Nearly a month time passed. This month Roger almost every day was breaking his limit while he continued to develop. Every day Roger's physical strength increased more than the previous day. Because of his soul is stronger, breaking his physical limit was easy for him and he could bear the pain. In this month Roger's body changed a lot. Although he didn't reach the extent of Garp, but still his body became more perfect, unlike his previous thin body. Roger was very satisfied himself. Of course, while this changed his appearance, his strength upgraded far more. In this month, beside physical enhancement, the Sword of the Soul strengthened several times. If a month ago his strength was just 30 point, then now he reached 100 point. His strength tripled in just a month. This is the result of his training. And the only after effect to breaking his limit is his appetite will grow. Roger now could guess why the original protagonist eats so much. In addition, even if the sword level didn't increase as much as his physical strength, but it still upgraded a few times. In front of his eye the property bar suddenly appeared. The second stage, the Ancient Sword of the Soul +6 attribute, attack power +7/5, power +20 special attributes, all things in the world, burn to ashes. All sword attack have increased fire damage, evolution condition not fulfilled, energy, 14/70 after the first stage the required energy for each strengthening increased by 10. Even so in this month Roger reached +6 and the third evolution didn't seem to be that far. Simultaneously, the flames that could only reach 1 meter before now can extend to 56 meters. Although he don't know that much sword techniques, but this flame could cover that for now. In this month Roger's strength promoted greatly. Even Roger himself didn't know how strong he was because all this time he was always with Garp and the latter's is too much for him to see his power up. Roger shook his head. A month ago he was ranked last and now he has so much strength. He couldn't help smiling. End of Chapter 5. To be continued. Chapter 6. Combat Assessment.